What's up with the peeps? What if Deku met Uraraka early, part 3? Alright, so in part 2, we pretty much simply left it off with Deku seeing Small Might. So the whole incident with all that happened. Now, we made it to play pretty much similar to how it did in canon, where the way of how everything played out happened. So they would talk for a little bit. All Might would talk about his injury, and then Deku would be like, oh, is it that one thing? And All Might would be surprised the kid knew about that fight alone, but he digresses. So, with some, discussions and words and going back and forth and stuff, they, talked, and then Deku's just like, yeah, alright, cool. And eventually they just dipped. And All Might was potentially thinking like, oh, I might have a successor, blah, blah, blah. Now, everything that happened originally where the Sludgeland attacks and all sorts of shit starts to go crazy. Yeah, so that shit happens, right? And with that shit happening, Deku sees this shit and he's like, damn, he had a flashback when he was fighting All Might. He saw the bottle, but he didn't pay much mind to it because he was trying to throw hands and also maintain his altitude the right way. He didn't want to fuck up his landing like he did during his training. Damn, that shit hurt. So, without any a moment's notice, it almost looks like this nigga's airwalking. And Deku just... And he's like... And then, he, cups his hands together and then, starts breathing. He cups his hands behind him. He starts breathing and then he says, Ki! Or he'll just, scream really loud. And when he exhales and screams really loud, a good chunk of the fire that was in the surrounding area gets reduced dramatically. He's like, whew, okay, I got it. Need to get better control on it. Okay. He's like, I got a cool move, but that was bad. Didn't do that the right way. So when that happens, immediately the sludge villain's like, it's you. So he tries to control Bakugo a lot faster, but Deku's like, okay, you know what? One of my favorite moves, and a move I personally made. To this day, I don't know if I made it 100% or if I saw Luffy take the stance one time when I was younger. I don't know. But basically, short and simple, it's similar to flying. I don't know what Luffy move is, pistol gum or something like that. But basically, Deku extends one hand out while cocking back the other hand. And he says, flying impact. Puts his hand back and forth and then... And Bakugo, gets pushed back ever so slightly, while the sludge villain is, in a flood of goo, and he just towers over the sludge villain like, you thought this shit was Skittles, huh? What do you mean? You thought this shit was sweet? Basically, long story short, Deku picks him up and tosses him to one of the villains, and when one of the heroes tries to say, oh, you should have did that, he hits the dude without, anyone realizing it. He just waves his hand and just waves his hand. Bakugo looks very intently wait, what's that? And then the hero was like, all right, before you get knocked out, let me tell y'all something. Y'all just sat there and did shit jack nothing. Hell, y'all could have at least called for the fire department. Even though you did, you could have still tried to do something. Water bottles, anything. He points over to multiple people with water bottles or some type of liquid in their hand. This would have been better than nothing. If you got all this together and threw it at the sludge villain in the surrounding area, it might have been different. But no, you want to take your time and praise the person that made the problem even worse by being a retard and activating his quirk in such a flammable area. And he is just going on these niggas' heads, bro. Neck meat wasn't safe that day. Episode bad. These niggas mad, alright? Now you already know All Might's gonna pull up, but this time it's gonna be different because Uraraka was heading to where she heard the commotion because she heard people talking about a green-haired boy and this and that. And she got really, scared. Oh shit, is my nigga good? Deku, you okay? And so Uraraka pulls up and she meets him halfway. All Might pulls up and he begins talking about the quirk as per usual, and I can give it to you. And Uraraka busts out laughing. Right? And All Might's visibly confused. And he's like, He wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take that if it was meaning to save anyone's life. Like, she's basically saying he a real nigga. He not about to like bend towards society and spread his cheeks and say, "Oh yes, please give me a quirk, sire." Like he's not about to do that. All right. And so with that said, All Might's surprised, and yeah, Deku pretty much says the same thing. And then Deku says, "Oh, by the way, All Might, when we were fighting, he takes off his shirt and like he unzips his pants, which All Might's visibly, concerned. And then like so he has his shirt up and like has like his pants down near, down like his waist, and shows that he's been wearing weighted, he's wearing a weighted vest or like two weighted plates almost. Like it's like Goku's really, but it's on his like upper torso and lower torso, and then he has like specially designed shoes and stuff. Basically, his whole body is weighted. He said, when we fought originally in canon, All Might, not in canon, but when we fought originally, I was weighted down, by the way. Oh, don't get me wrong. I know you wasn't going out, but neither was I. And All Might is like, he's like, fuck. So he really want to make this dude his successor even more now. But, I digress. And yeah, that's pretty much how that happens. And then we would have, the time period of them training, which you would just get like a little short montage of them training together. And they would not clean the beach, but they would pass by the beach and see All Might and see a purple dude. I mean, a dude with, purple balls on his head. And then they're kind of curious, like, what's going on over here? So they pull up over here and just be like, yeah, what's going on over here? And, the dude with the, ball on his head is Minato. And he's like, oh, shucks, someone found out, or, something like that. And then, All Might's like, don't worry, my child. They already know. And he's like, wait, but I thought you were your top secret. I don't know how that dude talks, but you know how you got the list. He's like, yeah, but he originally was going to be the person I picked. But then he saw, so what happened, right, was he saw, Deku. He was thinking, damn. And he saw Shop, people trying to be, heroic and all this. The Shop tried to kill him. Same Shop that Deku and uraraka went to. But the difference here is this version of Minato was one, he was fed up with being small, weak, and insignificant, right? So what he did, right, was he heard about this Shop. Like, if you go in and you live through the training, you'll become really strong. So he had his, grapes with him, and he was ready. He walked in, ready to do whatever he had to do. The thing hit him, and he actually got paralyzed in fear, but on the outside, it looked like he stopped because he knew it wasn't going to hit him. And then the dude was like, very well. There's only been same spill he gave Uraraka and Deku. And then the training begins, and All Might, was very complex about this. But something in his gut told him to come back here tomorrow. So during his very short time of being able to be a hero, he decides to come back, and he sees that, the kid, or we'll say like a week or something during this training time period passed, or a week or two, and then he sees the kid again. But this time, this kid's a little more muscular, and a little more taller. Okay, and All Might's baffled, right? He's like, what type of training did he do? And once again, when the sensei trains people, he trains them in different ways, so they're not just gonna learn one particular thing or one set thing where everyone learns the same thing, because when he puts them into that weird liquid, it activates their DNA and allows them to tap into their physical peak. It's more like unlocking your potential without unlocking your potential, and it's a gradual process similar to how it is in the show. And it's going to be to where it's like it allows you to basically be the best physical version of yourself. Then on top of that, he's only able to give you the baseline because he himself was never able to go beyond that. So this is why he trains other people and say, look, this is all I can teach you. I can teach you this. After that, you got to go figure out what you're going to do on your own. So then, All Might talks to this boy, talks about his goals and ambitions, and due to him being, trained and having some more discipline, he admits, want to be a hero. I would love to, I don't have no problem protecting and serving and helping people, but I just want to hear him. Like, at the end of the day, once I'm done with my heroicness and stuff, I'm going to sit back, hear him, and die peacefully. And All Might kind of laughs, but being honest is the true, quality of a hero. And sawing, even if it was briefly, sawing how he just walked in there with no fear in his eyes and knew the trap wasn't going to hit. That takes real heroism or real courage. Now we would flash back to the present, and then they would talk about that story. Deku and Uraraka are not impressed, but they'll let it be. And then they'd be like, well, since you got the same training from the same person, we got the same training from. Almost makes us, what is it, like brothers in arms or something? Or like siblings of the same student or something like that. And Deku offered to fight, but Uraraka's like, nah, let me fight him. Right? And then they would begin to fight. And the hands are actually, and this Minato is a lot taller, okay? He's a lot taller, and, he's got a lot better physique overall, and the fight begins. They're throwing some decent hands. And Uraraka's like, and he throws out a smash, like 5%, I guess. And it doesn't really do too much, okay? And so it does all right, but it doesn't really, it hits Uraraka. Uraraka's like, damn, the only time I've been hit this hard is when I'm fighting Deku. And Deku like cries in the background, please don't say it like that. It sounds wrong, or it'd be like, a joke on that type of manner. And then he like splits his past her, hits her in the back, and then she cries. She's like, God damn it, the only time I was in the back like that. And yeah, you know the joke. And Deku's like, please stop saying that. It sounds wrong. People are going to get the wrong idea of Uraraka. The fight basically presumes as normal with, more innuendos and jokes of such matter where it's like, I don't know, man. And then, when the fight's, over because, the fucking Green Rush nigga, he eventually, was about to put too much power in it. All Might was about to stop him, but Deku comes there and seemingly almost like he stopped the hand without touching it. He like rotates both, he rotates it similar to how Kakashi did with the Naruto and Sasuke, and he like redirects it, but at a weird distance. And then redirects the punch and stuff, and he helps Green Rush with that because he kind of like trips him, so the momentum of all that doesn't like backfire, it hurts him. And then they talk about it, they have a discussion, and then they tell him like, dude, you don't have to just use your arms, right? I presume you've only been training with such and such for this amount of time, so if that's the case, you probably haven't finished the training. But think about it more like this. Instead of trying to only cook one spot or one place, being concentrated, well, how about you spread the heat throughout it evenly like you're cooking? He would use the reference from Gran Torino, but he would just, have that knowledge due to the training. And then, Grape Rush would be like, oh, yeah, that makes more sense. And then develops a Grape Rush. And then a power of lightning surges through him. It's unconfirmed if people can see this, but this is what the audience sees. And then he's like, all right, now gradually build it up and see where you can stop at. Since he had prior training, and on top of training with the All Might, and on top of this not even being his full peak, we're going to say that he's able to go around that 8% mark, okay? And he's like, yeah, this is so much better. Now if I crank it up to 10, it's going to be a real issue, but I can manage, but with some strain. So work on, and then Deku, suggests, and Uraraka pipes in with this too, but it's like, all right, work on 5%, get that to where that's your base level, and then keep cranking it up, and then keep making that your base level until you're at 100% of your power, blah, blah, blah. More talk, and and then we would plan over to where they're about to do the entrance exams. And yeah, they would walk in, and that's where we leave the video off. You know what to do. Like, share, all that good stuff. And yeah, if y'all want to see this gameplay live, y'all know where to go. BossDK 23 on Twitch, or just go down to the link. It sends you to all my channels, even the ones I don't have videos for yet. Catch y'all later.